If your history teacher had any other interest than knitting and calling their mom on the weekends, you would realize that history is actually just a lot of hot gossip, and it's quite interesting. And today's ye old gossip, where I'm going to be spilling the hot tea on what went down during Renaissance Rome, is very fitting because we might be getting a new pope pretty soon, because Pope Francis, who's 88, is currently recovering from a severe respiratory infection that led to his hospitalization. And it may be time to choose a new pope. And I'm sure there is a more savory way of choosing the pope nowadays, but back in the Renaissance period, choosing a new pope was a bit like making a list of the 7 deadly sins and making sure you committed at least one of them during your campaign. Allow me to introduce you to the Borgias.
Oh, I loved that show back in the day.
So good. All right, they were a mix between the Kardashians, the Sopranos, and stick with me here, the family from TLC's hit reality show, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo.
This is a religious family we're talking about.
Yeah, yes, because we can't prove it, but incest was probably involved. I'm affectionately calling our Borgias reality show Bopping Around with the Borgias. And the Kim Kardashian of it is Pope Alexander VI's daughter, Lucrezia Borgia. Forgive her father, for she has slayed. If you thought making an adult film for fame was bad, Lucrezia Borgia wrote the scroll on how to become famous for all the wrong reasons.
And this was the Pope's daughter, right?
This is the Pope's daughter, but Lucrezia's first step into notoriety has nothing to do with what she did with her lovers. Rather, it's what she didn't do. So Daddy Pope Alexander VI just bought the papacy, and the Borgias are now the most powerful family in all of Christendom. But despite being God's #1 man on earth, you still need allies. And let's just say, marrying the Pope's daughter, Lucrezia Borgia, was a bit like being a billionaire in a submarine. You're probably not making it out alive. Her first marriage was to this guy named...
That was dark, Abby. That was so dark, Abby.
Let that one wash over you for a second, didn't you?
We had to get through that one. All right, her first marriage was to this guy named Giovanni Sforza. And after 4 years, the Pope was like, we don't really need you anymore, so you got to divorce my daughter. But they didn't just force him into a divorce. They humiliated him by saying, hey, this guy isn't just an unuseful ally, he's impotent! Ooh. Which for the kids at home means he was a really bad kisser. And he had to sign a document saying so. And I'm sure you're like, Abby, why would this man agree to sign papers saying he needs a little blue pill? And the first is that he would have to prove his potency in front of a panel of doctors, which is embarrassing. The second is that God's right-hand man, the Pope, told him to. And the third likely has something to do with bad boy Cesare Borgia. Bad to the bone. So Pope Alexander VI's son and Lucrezia's notorious brother Cesare. Obviously, when the literal Pope degrades your manhood in front of the entire Holy Roman Empire, Giovanni Sforza is going to be a little peeved. So Giovanni starts telling anyone who would listen that her brother Cesare was like, I'd hit that. Now, I'm not saying there was something going on between these siblings, but this is the same time period where they thought bathing once a month was being too hygienic. And even the people were like, something doesn't smell right here. For example, today, if you were in the middle of a messy divorce, your rich family would send you to rehab and you'd take up Buddhism or something to get back to homeostasis. But since this is the Renaissance, Lucrezia was sent to a convent where she allegedly gave birth to a son fathered by either her father, the Pope, or Cesare. And Cesare was the definition of overprotective because he didn't just stalk Lucrezia's lovers on Facebook when something seemed off. He straight up assassinated them. So when Lucrezia's second husband gets voted off the island by Daddy Pope because, I don't need this alliance anymore, this man gets attacked in the street by a random stranger, Cesare, survives, makes it to the hospital, and then is strangled to death by a total stranger, Cesare, and dies, which is a total bummer because hubby number 2 was hot and Lucrezia actually liked him. So when it's time for her to get married again, you would think husband number 3 would be like, hell no. But no. But our boy Alfonso de Este did not give an F. He walks into the Vatican and he's like,
ooh, this is nice. Girl, this all this is you right here? Okay. It don't smell like roaches in here or nothing.
So this is where the drama between Lucrezia and her husbands end, shockingly. But she would continue to live a life riddled with scandal. Rumor has it she, along with her brother and father, the Pope, were present for an infamous intimate group activity, wink, wink.
The three of them?
With members of the clergy, and they called it the Banquet of Chestnuts, which, if you think about it, was appropriately named.
They be playing them chestnut checkers, Mo.
Yeah, see.
And if you were ever going to join her for dinner, you needed to BYOB because she was known to keep poison in a hollow ring. So if she felt like, you should die, she could send you off to be with God, which I guess when your dad is God's head honcho on earth, you get a free pass to do so. Lucrezia Borgia wasn't just the it girl of Renaissance Rome. She was a key political figure who maybe poisoned her enemies, engaged in lewd acts, and potentially slept with her dad and brother. But is anything more iconic than getting into a confessional booth and legitimately getting to say, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned"?
Well done. Well done. Very well done.
And there's a really fun Stars show all about it, which makes it even more juicy, called The Borgias.
I remember seeing like the artwork for it for the longest time and thinking, I'm never going to be interested in this.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it awesome?
It's got Jeremy Irons, I think, in it. And yeah,
The Scandals. The Scandals.
Scandals. It's so good.
The Bert Show.